Okay, cool. So I think everyone knows me, but my name is April Munyan-Shangare. I'm the financial coach here for the Momentum Urban Employment Initiative. I've been here almost 2 years, so it'll be 2 years in August, and I've just been having a blast working with everyone. It's been so much fun, and I'm excited about this new virtual programming that we're kicking off today. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to share my screen in a minute, but if you have a question about something as we're going through, please write your question on the chat, or you can raise your hand if it's something that, you said something and can you repeat it? Raise your hand and I'll try my best to acknowledge you and answer your question. Yeah, so at the end, we'll have, as we're going through, again, like I said, ask questions, and then at the end, if you have questions, please feel free. Today's workshop is kind of an overview of what we're going to be kicking off with the financial literacy workshops. And the reason why we're recording is for those people who might need this information, might want this information, but maybe they're working or they have something else going on, we'll be able to put it on Facebook. We'll be able to maybe email the recording so people can still get that information. All right. So I'm going to share my screen. All right. Can everybody see that?
Yes.
Okay. So I have some animations. So hopefully my animations will work. Not animations like cartoons jumping around, but just different things. So hopefully there's not a big delay. So, all right. So my favorite topic is finances and math, dealing with numbers. But why this topic? Why this financial literacy? Why this topic now? I mean, April, we're in the middle of a pandemic, right? I mean, people are losing their money or losing their jobs. And of course, losing sources of income. Maybe they have limited sources of income. Maybe there's no income coming in. And who wants to talk about money anyway? I mean, money is a taboo topic, right? Even before COVID-19, talking about money was kind of a touchy subject. Can anybody agree? I mean, it's not the favorite topic, but it's something that we need to talk about because we deal with money on a daily basis. So all these points are valid, but my question to you is, why not? Why not talk about financial literacy right now? I mean, we have a little extra time on our hands, so why not beef up our knowledge about how to handle money more responsibly? So when you hear the phrase financial literacy, what thoughts pop in your head? And you can answer
like spending money wisely.
Spending money wisely, okay.
Understanding finances.
Understanding finances, okay.
Budgeting.
Budgeting, yep. Anything else? The value of a dollar?
Yeah.
Yep, definitely, yep. So the word literacy means to have a competence or a knowledge of a particular topic. So we hear literacy such as reading literacy, right? Writing literacy. Those are things that we hear about a lot when we're talking about our children in school. My favorite topic, math literacy, being able to handle handle numbers, computations, equations, different things like that. So what's a formal definition of financial literacy? I'm gonna, back up for a minute here. Just scooting some things over a little bit. All right. So financial literacy is having the skills and knowledge that allow you to make smart decisions with all of your financial resources. It's regularly doing the right things with money that lead to the right financial outcomes. Okay, so let's back up again. Is regularly doing the right things. So what's an example of a right thing with money? Can anybody think of it? Of an example?
Oh, right.
What'd you say?
Can you
I
ask
don't
that
know.
question again?
What is an example of a right thing that you could do with money?
Responsible things like pay our bills.
Okay, pay your bills. Yep.
Um,
How about saving money? What'd you say?
Saving it for times like this.
Okay, saving money for times like this. Yep. Saving money every paycheck, for example. That's a right thing to do with money. So that will lead you to right financial outcomes or financial results. So if you're saving money every paycheck, or you have a routine of saving money, what is going to be a good result? Like Radisha said, having money for times like now. Have an emergency fund when things go sideways, right? And we know that sometimes things go sideways.
that
So,
actually happened, that's what happened to me. That's the only reason I am okay right now is because when we got our tax money, we didn't spend it. We just put it away. And we're both working, and then we both got a stimulus check. So
okay.
money that we don't even have to spend, we just kind of put it to the side and add to it because we both make money every day. So, we've been able to just get ourselves to a point where we're okay now that, we got ourselves up for a couple months.
Okay, cool. So these right things help us to build confidence. So Deja, you have confidence that, I don't have to worry about things as much because I have some money set aside. So it's building that confidence in handling your money, create responsibility, and give you the power to choose better options. So I threw in that choose better options. What are better options? So an example is, let's say you want to buy tires and you have an option of, I'm just going to throw out some names, Bell Tire. And let's say you want to go to Bell Tire because, not necessarily because they're a better tire place, sorry, Bell Tire, but because you have a credit card there. You don't have any money in the bank, but you have a credit card to Bell Tire, so you can buy your tires and put them on credit. But if you had money in the bank, you could shop around, right? You could go to a discount tire. You can go to the local mom and pop shop and check out their what tires they have there, and maybe choose discount tire because you have cash and because you can just buy right on the spot, save money as opposed to putting things on credit. All right, so these financial resources include having a checking account, having a savings account, a banking relationship. We'll talk about that more a little later. Having investments or retirement fund. Debts and loans. There's some loans that are okay to have. Like for instance, if you want to purchase a house, that's a good loan because that's a loan for something that is increasing in value. Different types of insurance to protect your assets. College funds for your children. All right, so motivation. Why? Again, we're in the middle of a pandemic here. We do not want to talk about money. We want to make sure we have food on the table, we have our bills paid, we have a roof over our head. We're concerned about getting back to work. Why talk about this? So give me some inspiration, right? So a couple quotes here, and I love giving quotes when I'm doing presentations because it helps to give perspective from other people. It helps to take what we're talking about and put in a nice little package with a nice bow on top. So one quote is from Zig Ziglar. He's a famous author and motivational speaker. And he said, success occurs when opportunity meets preparation. Okay. Success occurs when opportunity meets preparation. So what does that mean? We're preparing now in this workshop, or as you're reading other things about how to handle money, so that when the opportunity comes for you to go back to work or get a new job or even get that paycheck next week because you're working and you're getting some money, that's an opportunity. When those two things collide, then you have success. Another quote is from Arthur Ashe. Anybody know who Arthur Ashe is? Anybody? Tennis player. He's a famous tennis player from like in the 60s, 70s, I believe. And so there are even stadiums named after him. He was a very influential tennis player. And his quote is, "One important key to success is self-confidence. An important key to self-confidence then is preparation." So again, we're talking about preparing, making sure that we know what we're doing today so that we can have the confidence to do better in the future. All right, so that's cool. I'm inspired, to listen a little bit longer, but now I want to see some proof. So if you look on the left side of your screen, we have 10 figures here. These 10 people represent, 10 people who you might know, 10 of your neighbors, 10 of your family members. The first stat says that 40% of people, so that's 4 out of those 10, can't cover a $400 emergency. Okay, so we can think of emergencies, things that come up, right? If we have a car, we can think of an emergency of a battery dying or tires going bad. So I have an example. Last year, my family and I were about to go on vacation. And a week before we went on vacation, I was coming out of work and my battery was sounding a little low. It sounded like it was struggling. So I'm like, okay. But it turns and I get to almost home, decide to run into the store because, I'm feeling lucky. So I run into before I go into the store, I turn off the car and then I say, oh, let me turn it back on. Let me try to turn it on. So I try to turn it on, doesn't turn over. So battery is dead. So thankfully, my husband happened to be home and he was able to come and jump the battery. So there we go. I need a new battery. Go to a store. I won't name any names anymore. Went to a store to purchase a battery. The battery cost about $100. Not too big of a deal, right? But the way the clerk rang up the battery, he rang it up kind of crazy, and he charged me twice. So I ended up paying over $200 for this battery, and they couldn't give me the money back right away. So, there's $200 that I wasn't expecting to pay, right? And then getting ready to go on this trip, we were going to be driving. So my tires sounded a little funny. So I said, okay, we have to go in and check the tires. We don't want to blow out anything on the side of the road. So go into the tire shop and they say, okay, April, you have a couple ball tires. Oh, that's great. So of course we have to get that fixed because we're driving. We don't want to rent a car because that would just be wasting money. And I would still need the tires. So when all was said and done with the tires, I ended up spending $300 because the other tires had some issues. And so long story short, ended up spending $500 a week before going on vacation. Now, if I didn't have that money set aside, I would have had to tell the family, sorry guys, we can't go on vacation. Money was used for something else. So again, thankful to have that emergency fund. Now, the other stat says that over 25% of people don't save any money every month. So that's like 1 out of 4 people who don't save money. That's cool. That means 3 out of 4 do, which is not a bad statistic, but you don't want to be that one person who is not routinely saving something. And we'll talk about that again later. The other stat is nearly 4 out of 5 US workers live paycheck to paycheck. So does anybody know what that means, living paycheck to paycheck? I hear you talking, Deja, maybe.
Having just enough money for your bills, and that's about it.
Right, just enough money for the bills.
And then having nothing. until
Right,
your next
yeah,
paycheck.
right. And sometimes that money, when it hits the bank, is to cover a bill that you paid a couple of days ago that hasn't hit the bank, right?
Yes.
So, yep. So we're going to talk about how to ensure that we're not living paycheck to paycheck. All right. Any
That's
questions?
a super,
Go ahead.
it's a super stressful feeling living paycheck to paycheck.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Being
Yep.
to a point where, I'm not rich, but I didn't even have to cash my check that I got paid last night because I'm
Mm.
just not there yet. So
Okay. That's all right. That's all right.
I
That's
remember
a
I
good
couldn't wait
feeling.
to get my check so I can go cash it just to spend it all.
Right. All right. Okay. So what about you? So now we're getting to a point where I'm going to ask you some rhetorical questions. These are just things to think about. And then once we go through these do you knows, there are a few questions that I'm going to ask you guys and get your participation. So what is your level of comfort when it comes to financial literacy? So a couple of things that go into financial literacy, more than just, making money and paying your bills. So do you know, and again, this is rhetorical, you don't have to answer, but do you know how to create a monthly budget that includes all of your basic expenses, your bills, any debts, and your sinking funds for future purchases? So sinking funds are if you're planning to purchase something in the future, let's say, for instance, new windows, or you want to buy a car in about 6 to 8 months and you want to pay cash. So sinking fund is putting money aside so that you can pay cash. Oh, you got your mic on if you want to.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought
Oh, you're good. You're good. All right, thanks. Do you know about how much money you spend to cover living expenses for 3 to 6 months? So this is if you're thinking about, okay, what if we have another catastrophic situation? Do you know how much money you need to cover 3 to 6 months? Let's say if you were to stop having to work. Are you currently debt free, or are you taking steps to reduce your debts? Just some things to think about. Have you reviewed your credit report, and do you understand what's being reported? And if so, do you know the ingredients of your credit score? So credit reports and credit scores are two different things. A credit score is just a number, but your credit report are accounts that have been reported about you. And it could just be, it doesn't have to be anything bad. For instance, if you have a mortgage, your monthly mortgage payment gets reported that you're paying it, on time, or if you're 30 days late, that type of stuff. It also covers collections. If you have some collections from the past, that's also on your credit report. Do you have an emergency fund in place that will allow you to go through a sudden large life event? Kind of what we talked about before. Couple more do you knows. Do you have a checking account and a savings account? And then how is your banking relationship with a local bank or with a credit union? Now, some people are opposed to using a local bank, which is fine. You can go to a credit union. Sometimes credit unions are more friendly, smaller. Sometimes people think that credit unions care more about their customers. So either way, you want to make sure you have a checking and a savings account. And again, we'll talk about that later. Have you set any SMART goals? These are goals that are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant to your life, and timely. So we're going to have some time to talk about that in our next session. Do you have an understanding of how compound interest allows invested money to grow over time? So you have simple interest and you have compound interest. Compound interest is earning money on your money. And that's how your money is going to be growing. So when we talk about investments and retirement funds, that's what we'll be talking about. Do you know the difference between an emergency fund and an investment? An emergency fund is something that you can use today or tomorrow, and it's easy to access. An investment is something that's money set aside for the future, and typically if you try to withdraw it early, of course there'll be a penalty. And then last one, do you know the various kinds of insurance that are needed to protect your finances and your investment? Some of these things are, can y'all think of any insurances that will help to protect your money? What kind of insurances do you guys have or would like to have?
To protect the money, or just like regular insurance that we have, like, life insurance,
Yep.
stuff like that.
Life insurance, yeah. So it's not necessarily protecting your money, but it
Or
is.
to actually protect our money.
Well, yeah, it can do both, because let's say, for instance, you don't have health insurance and you have a procedure and it costs $10,000. Well, that's going to require you to pay it and take some of your money, right? So that's an insurance that you would want to protect your asset. Another insurance, like you mentioned, Radisha, you said life insurance, car insurance, renter's insurance. If you're renting an apartment, renter's insurance typically costs maybe $25, $30 a month, but it's important to have, because in the case of, let's say your apartment catches on fire, your landlord is not going to reimburse the things that were inside. And then of course, if you have a home, you definitely have homeowners insurance. But we'll get more into those in other workshops. Okay, so now question and answer period. So I'm going to ask 3 questions. Well, actually, I'm going to ask 6 altogether, but first 3 questions, I'm just going to ask them. You guys think about what your answers are, and then I'm going to ask somebody to see if they know what the answer is. All right, so first question, and these are multiple choice. How do I begin the process of creating a long-term financial plan? So just think about what your answer is, and we'll answer them in just on the next slide. So how do I begin the process of creating a long-term financial plan? Start investing immediately. Number 2, open a savings account. Number 3, start thinking about and writing down goals for your career, finances, and life. Or number 4, check your. Okay, so think about what your answer is, and we'll come back to that in just a minute. Next question. What first step should I take to automate my finances? Graduate high school, write a budget, check your credit scores, or open a checking and savings account? What would be your first step to automate your finances? And then the third question, why would I want to improve my credit score? To save money when purchasing a car with a loan, to earn more interest on investments, to help you get a job because many employers check their prospective employees' credit, or number 4, both 1 and 3. Okay, do y'all have your answers? All right, I see you talking, Jason. Oh, you said wait a minute. Okay. All right, do you at least have the first one, number 1? Because when I reveal the answers, they're going to be one after the other. So let's take a look at the first one. So the answer is, start thinking about and writing down goals for your career, finances, and life. Did y'all have that for an answer? So this is creating a long-term financial plan. You don't, all right, Jamila had it, woohoo! This isn't necessarily having that dream job that you've always wanted before you can start making a financial plan. It's not having, tens of thousands of dollars in the bank before you start it. It's thinking about what you want to have, what's your goals. Do you want to be able to have a job where you work only 3 days a week? Do you want a job where you can work from home whenever you want to? You know, those types of things. Do you have a job, or do you have a goal where you want to retire by age 55? You know, so these are the types of things that you think about as you're creating your financial plan. Okay, second question. First step to automate finances, open a checking and savings account. You don't have to graduate high school. You can open up a checking and savings account even before you finish high school, right? So why is it important to open a checking and a savings account if you're going to automate your finances? Well, direct deposit. If you want your checks to go into your account, you have to have an account, right? And then if you want to have, let's say your rent or your mortgage paid automatically, an automatic withdrawal, you have to have those accounts available. If you want your utilities to be paid recurring, or your phone bill, you know, those types of things. All right. And then number 3, why would I want to improve my credit score? So the answer is, if you answered number 1, you're correct. If you answer number 3, you are correct. But the most correct answer is number 4, 1 and 3. So let's say you're going to purchase a car and you're not going to pay cash for it. You want to have the best credit score possible. Why? So that you don't have to pay as much interest. Now, I was just talking with someone a couple weeks ago, and this person is paying a lot of money on a car because credit score, and because, you know, whatever the issues are. So you want to make sure that you have the best credit score possible. And also, some jobs check your credit score as a way to consider you for employment. Now, they'll let you know this up front. It's not something that they're going to sneak and do behind your backs, but that's something else to consider. Any questions on these? Uh-oh. I'm sorry, guys. Okay, let's just keep going. All right, next question, the last 3 questions. From the following list, choose the best suggestion for building and maintaining a good credit rating. Having money in savings and protect against identity theft. Now remember, you're trying to find the best suggestion. Keep your debts low and pay your bills on time. Make safe investments and set clear financial goals, or none of the above. That's a possibility. Not saying that that's the answer, but you know. All right, second question. Which of the following financial products can help you lower your personal risk? Now, we talked about this just a little bit ago. We kind of alluded to this. Number 1, insurance. Number 2, mutual funds. Number 3, 401k and retirement plans. And number 4, again, one of those, none of the above. So which one helps you to lower your personal risk? And then the last question, which of the following steps should I take now to be prepared to invest and get my money growing for me? Number 1, start saving toward an emergency fund equal to 3 to 6 months of your bills. Number 2, start learning more about investing and potential investments. Number 3, start looking for a team of trusted advisors and mentors. Number 4, all of the above. All right. So are you ready? Jason, are you ready?
Yeah.
All right. So number 1, which one do you think is the correct answer? Anybody?
2.
Number 2? Okay. Keep your debts low and pay your bills on time. Let's see. Drum roll. Ta-da! Yep, you are correct. Keeping your debts low and paying your bills on time will help you maintain good credit rating. So when you're looking at your credit score, there are 5 categories that make up your credit score. The 2 biggest categories are keeping your debts low, that's your account balance, that makes up about 30% of your credit score, and then paying your bills on time, that makes up 35% of your credit score. So you want to make sure that you're always paying timely, even if it's a minimum payment. You want to make sure it's paid on time. All right, next question. Having insurance can lower your personal risk, right? So again, if you have health insurance, that's going to lower what you're going to have to pay for your medical procedures, prescriptions, those types of things. If you have car insurance and you get into a car accident, that's going to lower how much money you're going to have to pay to fix your car and to fix the other person's car if you were the person who caused the accident. Last question. Which of the following steps should I take now to be prepared to invest? All of the above. So these are things that you're thinking about right now. And even if you say, well, I've got a ton of debt, I'm still trying to get my money to work for me. Okay, but you can think about these things. Think about your potential investments, where you want to put your money. Look around, talk to some trusted advisors and some mentors, and I can give you some resources for you to just at least talk to people to find out, so that when you are ready to invest your money, you have a better idea of where you're going. All right. So in these workshops, what topics are we going to be covering? And we've alluded to a lot of these, of course. Budgeting, tracking your expenses. Those are like the number one topics. Knowing your income, knowing how to calculate your income. And that income is gross income versus your net income. Checking and savings accounts. Smart goal setting. Credit reports and credit scores. Taking a look at your credit reports. Trying to decipher what is correct on your credit report and maybe what needs to be taken off your credit report because it's not correct. Paying off debt. Types of insurance to make sure that your assets are protected, and investments. All right. So what's going to happen next week? Next week, again, we're meeting next Wednesday at 2:30. I'd like you to bring paper, pen or pencil, and some type of a calculating device, whether it's your phone or a regular calculator, because we're going to be doing some budgeting and want you to be able to do some calculating. I'm going to be doing some calculating on the screen, but of course I want you to be able to do some calculating as well. Have an idea of your short-term and long-term goals. What are you looking forward to in 6 months to a year? And then what are you looking forward to in 3 to 5 years? If you have a long-term goal of purchasing your own house within the next 3 years, okay, let's write that down. Let's talk about that, so we can talk about things that you need to be doing now to prepare you for purchasing your own home. Knowing the details and numbers of your income and your expenses. So try to have some idea of what money is coming in right now, even if you're collecting unemployment, even if you're collecting some type of, maybe you just have a part-time job, whatever your income is, know what that is. And then your expenses. How much do you pay for rent? How much do you spend on food, transportation, those necessary items, especially right now. Now, you might have some debts that have been forgiven, or maybe you put on forbearance right now until you get back to work, but at least have an idea of what those expenses are. All right, so are you ready to get financially healthy? Yes. So I think about this when I'm about to do a workout, and I'm like, do I really? Who's going to see that I don't do this workout? Nobody. I'm here at home. But then I think about, okay, 30 minutes or an hour after, how good I'm going to feel. And so I suck it up and I, get through the workout. So this is kind of the same way. We don't want to look at those numbers, but we're going to go ahead and just push forward and start our journey. So I'm going to leave you with 3 A's. The first A is to assess. Where are you right now in terms of your finances? Again, are you unemployed looking for work? Are you getting unemployment? Are you working part-time? Are you working full-time? You know, where are you right now? Be honest with yourself, and also looking at your expenses, your past debts. Go ahead and get those skeletons out of the closet. You'll feel more relieved when you're sitting down and actually trying to face things. Acknowledge that better is available. And by you being here at this workshop, or if you're checking this out on Facebook, you're acknowledging that better is available because you're sitting here and you're listening to, you know, to us talk about money. And then the last one is activate your new plan of action. So it's good that you write down your goals. It's good that you write down your budget. But if you just have it written down and you don't do anything with it, it's not gonna help you get to where you want to go. I'm reading a book called Everyday Millionaires, and for example, you would think that millionaires wouldn't necessarily have to budget because they can walk into a store and just buy whatever they want, right? 93% of those 10,000 millionaires write a budget every month, and then they stick to that budget as compared to just our everyday Joe who is 78% writing a budget and sticking to it. So we want to be like those millionaires, making sure that we're writing down our budget, we're activating our plan. All right, so I have some contact information up here on the screen. I'll share this just for a second and then I'll go back to the main screen, see if there's anybody who has any questions. If you have a question about something and maybe you don't feel comfortable sharing it amongst our friends here, you can email me. There are 2 email addresses there. My phone number is there as well. If you wanted to give me a call, we can set up a time to just talk over things. All right, cool. Any questions? Where'd you go, Deja? No, I'm kidding. Radisha, are you at work?
Yeah, just got here.
Okay, I thought you had the day off.
Oh, girl, I wish.
Making that money. Okay.
Man, I wish.
All right.
No, I just got here though.
Oh, you just got here. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Just started.
Okay. I'm gonna have to have you be a guest speaker, right? Because you're making the money work.
Because of you. So yeah. Because of you. That's why.
You did all the work.
Oh no. Yeah, you taught me the way. So I appreciate it. It works for sure.
All right.
If you apply what you say, it works.
Definitely.
Said it took a pandemic for me to finally realize the value of a dollar. But
sure.
I'm there now.
Definitely.
Yeah.
All right. Well, is FlowServe hiring?
They should be.
We'll put a plug in there for Jason.
Yeah, they definitely no, I know for a fact they were. But like even our bosses and stuff, like they're not here except just our big boss. But everybody is working from home right now until everything, I guess, is kind of halfway back to normal. Yeah, but they before like all of this happened, they were.
Okay.
Yep. So yeah, it don't hurt to apply. You know, you can always apply and yeah, start there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good. All right. Well, Jason, you have anything or?
No, but on that FlowServe topic, I just kind of, my heart jumped. I was like, oh my God, because I had went to those 2 interviews and then there should have been another one, but then the pandemic thing happened.
Oh,
have you got 2 interviews and that's great.
Yeah, I just don't know
that because they cut people off on the first one from what I've seen and heard.
Yeah, I'm hoping that they contact me again.
Yeah, who did you interview with?
Oh, geez, I don't even recall the gentleman's name. I was an older guy, and then he had another guy with him that was kind of older too, but bald.
Oh, I think that's across the street. Okay, yeah, they hiring over there for sure.
Okay.
That's a good.
Yeah, but reach out to Brandy too because she's I don't know if you know Brandy, but
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so I heard that there was one graduate who I was talking to who was being interviewed for a company, and he was going to be on his third interview, but then the quarantine hit, so they're still looking at him as an option. But yeah, so get your resumes out there, definitely. So, all right, cool. Well, if there's nothing left, thank you, Jason, for coming. Radisha, everybody else who came. Again, we'll put this on Facebook, so we'll have it there and available for everyone to reference.
How many
What'd
weeks?
you say?
How many weeks are we doing this?
So right now it is every Wednesday to infinity and beyond. No, I'm kidding.
I mean, like, is there like an ideal number, like 6 weeks, 7 weeks, or? Just
I'd say, well, how long would you like it to go? No, I'm kidding.
I mean, I'll attend until I got a job.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So right now it's just going every week, every Wednesday. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. If that changes, we'll definitely put that on the Momentum Connect page.
Okay.
But yeah, so as of right now, it's going to be every Wednesday at 2:30.
Yep, I got that.
Yep.
Thank you, guys.
All right, cool. Well, thank you. Good to see you.
Yeah, thanks for joining, Jason.
Yeah, I miss you guys. Oh my God.